Investigative report Soviet Ghost on Mars. The discovery that rewrites space history. By Mark Velsky, International Center for Space Investigations. Part 1. The anomaly in Sector D23. On July 7, 2025, at exactly 4:26 Universal Time Coordinated, NASA's Mars rover Endurance 2, currently operating within the Argyre Crater, a region long considered geologically stable and relatively uneventful, detected an anomalous, low-frequency radio pulse. The signal didn't correspond to any known atmospheric or tectonic activity. Even more perplexing, the frequency bore resemblance to early analog transmissions used by Soviet-era space programs in the 1960s. Initially dismissed as a data artifact, the signal reoccurred several times in the following 48 hours. NASA's automated deep scanning protocol rerouted the rover toward the source. Coordinates 47.9 degrees south latitude and 42.1 degrees west longitude soon became the focus of international attention, though only after a leak triggered one of the most controversial information scrambles in recent space history. There, on a reddish, wind-scoured ridge, lay what at first appeared to be a discarded payload or a damaged instrument casing. Upon closer inspection via rover imaging tools, however, the object was revealed to be something extraordinary, a fully intact human spacesuit, half buried in Martian dust. The suit was of an unknown design. It bore the unmistakable, faded red Cyrillic letters, SSSE. Part 2. The photo they tried to erase. On July 10th, an internal NASA technician leaked the image to a private Discord server used by amateur astronomers and space enthusiasts. Within hours, it spread to Reddit and X, formerly Twitter, racking up over 3 million views before being systematically removed by moderation bots and takedown notices. The photo was stark, surreal. A humanoid figure lay on its side, one arm bent at an unnatural angle. The helmet visor was shattered, and within the shadows of the cracked glass, clearly visible, a human skull. In a world already attuned to conspiracy theories, the image became a Rorschach test. Was it a hoax? A prop? A leftover from a secret American test mission? NASA refused to comment. But aerospace experts quickly pointed out several features of the suit that were entirely inconsistent with US space programs. The helmet was spherical, akin to early Soviet EVA suits. The ribbed joint coverings, the metallic gauntlets, and the overall wear patterns strongly suggested vintage hardware. But one feature stood out above all others: a titanium wristplate engraved with the name Vladimir I. Solovyov. Part 3. The man who was erased from history. A deep dive into Cold War-era records confirmed that a cosmonaut by that name did, in fact, exist. Vladimir Ilyich Solovyov, born in 1939, had been part of a classified cohort of Soviet cosmonauts trained not for Earth orbit, but for long-duration lunar and interplanetary experiments. According to declassified KGB archives, made public in 1997 during Boris Yeltsin's reform years, Solovyov was last seen in 1973, departing from Baikonur for a high-altitude flight test involving what was cryptically referred to as Project 74K. The program was later revealed to have been associated with gravitational propulsion experiments based loosely on the theoretical work of Soviet astrophysicist Nikolai Kozyrev. Official records list Solovyov as deceased in a vehicle disintegration event during atmospheric re-entry. But no wreckage was ever recovered. And now, over 50 years later, his body appears to have been found on another planet. Part 4. The Martian Lander and its Secrets. 12 days after the suit was discovered, the Endurance 2 rover, following a wide scanning arc, encountered a structure partially buried beneath dunes. A Soviet-style descent module unlike any known to modern aerospace historians. Though time and erosion had stripped away much of the paint, spectroscopic analysis revealed remnants of heat shielding consistent with materials used in the USSR's Venus and Mars missions. Faint, peeling lettering in Cyrillic script could still be discerned, along with a partially burned Soviet emblem. This was no derelict satellite. The structure bore clear signs of human occupancy: modular compartments, hand-operated controls, even an oxidized hatch mechanism suggesting manual use. Inside, rover-mounted sensors detected elevated radiation consistent with a long-expired RTG, radioisotope thermoelectric generator, suggesting the lander was intended for long-duration survival. An exterior camera, mounted atop the lander's antenna array, had been shattered, but its data core was intact. NASA has since refused to release its contents, citing national security agreements. Part 5. Theories, Denials, and Cover-ups. NASA has officially labeled the incident a misidentification of geological features exaggerated by public imagination. Roscosmos responded with a two-line statement: "The individual in question is not recognized in our official registry. We assert no connection to the object photographed on Mars." But independent experts, and former space program insiders, tell a different story. An anonymous former ESA engineer leaked documents suggesting that Soviet Mars programs had a covert man component, dubbed Alita, that launched at least 2 missions using untested electromagnetic acceleration rails. Theorists speculate that these early prototypes bypassed traditional rocket physics entirely, using pulse field drives to slingshot small capsules across interplanetary distances. Such a launch, though theoretically plausible, would have likely exposed any human on board to lethal G-forces, unless special biological shielding was used. Was Solovyev part of such an experiment? If so, it was a one-way trip. Part 6. The Cosmic Tombstone. As of now, the skeletal remains of Vladimir I. Solovyev remain untouched in the Martian dust. No recovery mission has been scheduled. His helmet, shattered and filled with Martian sand, has become a digital icon, a cosmic tombstone watched by millions on Earth. Memorial groups have sprung up online. Artists have created renderings, tributes, even poems dedicated to the lone cosmonaut who may have reached Mars decades before anyone else. But beneath the symbolism lies a darker question. What else is being hidden? If Solovyev was sent to Mars, why? By whom? And was he truly alone? Satellite imagery now being reanalyzed by civilian groups has uncovered possible anomalies in nearby regions. Metallic glints, unnatural shapes, shadows inconsistent with the landscape. The mystery deepens. Part 7. Epilogue. The Man Who Touched Another World. If proven true, this discovery will represent the most significant revision of space history in modern times. It will mean that at the height of the Cold War, one man, unsupported, uncelebrated, and ultimately erased, became the first human to set foot on Mars. And he did so not with glory or fanfare, but in total silence. No broadcast. No return. Only now, decades later, does his story begin to surface. And perhaps that's the most haunting detail of all. He made it, and no one ever knew.